What do you have in started?
Nothing. I pressed the start button. I'm just waiting to see. Yeah, there's a green. I'm just waiting to see. There's a green. There we go. It's already happening. Yeah, we're live. We're live, baby.
Holy shit, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to talk about the world's shittiest Jew with the world's smallest mouse hat.
Right. Now, the Phil-City's Jew. Who could that be? Who could that be? Who could that be?
J-Dubs.
J-Dubs. Indeed. And J-Dubs.
That is one fucking massive, ugly fucking beard that he's got, man.
Hey, the beards are... well, the beard is the beard. That beard, he couldn't help. That's genetics. But...
Yeah, but I don't know, he could trim it, or put some color in it, because it doesn't match his hair on his head,
It's not allowed.
What does he do, dye his hair?
Listen, don't be a woman. I have a problem.
Hey, look, I'll be anything I want to be, Sydney, especially when I'm looking at John here, man.
I had,
one sexy motherfucker.
If I had a big lump growing out of the top of my head, would I cover it with a big black box?
That has got to be the funniest looking mouse hat. It's like, oh, I'm a Jew.
I mean, can you? What is this? What is this?
I don't fucking know. It seems like all religions have funny fucking hats, But that's got to be the fucking smallest funny looking hat that I've ever fucking seen. So, somewhere around the world there's a mouse.
I think that
lost his fucking hat.
That could be the that looks like the Muslim Kaaba. The rock that's in that they walk around all the time. It looks the black rock should shape just like that. I wonder if there's a Muslim.
Oh yeah. Maybe he's a secret Muslim.
Secret
and who are we to judge?
Who are we to judge? No, we're no one to judge.
Judge not, lest ye be judged. Well, let's see what John. Man, I mean,
well,
this is
the thing is, I saw the title for this. Okay, now let me read it to you. It says, "Warning, warning! God inflicts severe punishment for moral depravity." So, hide your kids. This is 18 plus. John is going to talk to us in an adult.
It's adult talk now.
It's adult. It's grown up talk. So let's.
We're gonna see how God's gonna fuck you up, man, if you're not a good boy and girl.
Right, John, take it away, buddy.
Which is pretty sad because I'm pretty worried about that, Sydney, because I touched myself last night, and I've been kind of worried about maybe things that God might do to me.
Well, I think that you should keep that between. You might want to keep that between you and God. Just
I think that's a good idea. I should stop posting things like that about me touching myself on social media. Because,
you know what? Leave it between you.
God might look at Facebook. We don't know.
If you and your priest were to just keep it between yourselves, that'd be fine. Think
Well, my priest and I, we were going to keep it to ourselves, but he sold the story and made me look like the fucking whore. And so, I had to come up with my version.
So what you're saying is you're not a whore.
I'm not saying I'm not a whore, Sydney, but I'm not a cheap whore.
Well, you really should make these things a little bit more
known to people.
Visible.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's fucked up. So, do you want to let John talk and introduce the topic?
Yeah. I'm really interested in what John has to say. Because I'm afraid of that eternal lake of fire. I mean.
So you should be. So you should be.
What kind of knowledge is he going to bestow upon us about moral depravity?
Well, the thing is, he's got close to 30 minutes of talk time lined up about moral depravity.
Ooh.
So let's figure it out.
Probably a lot of good stuff in here.
I know. I hope to learn some stuff about depravity and
me too. Because who knows?
I'd be honest.
I might want to be a Jew one day.
Well, I want to practice moral depravity, and I don't know how. Maybe he can show me what it's all about, and I can sort of get a good head start thanks to John Gischala.
You think John touches himself?
Are you kidding me? All the time. Why do you think he only has headshots? Here's my hands. Sorry.
That's true. I think John should prove to everybody that he's actually wearing pants when he does videos.
Talking about
because I'm not wearing any pants right now, and I'm sure you're not wearing any pants either, Sydney.
Well, I do approve of you speaking for yourself. And that's not.
Oh, come on, Sydney, don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Okay, John. Okay, John. Okay,
it's a no pants Thursday night.
Is it Thursday already? Jesus.
Yes, it is. Tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah, but does that mean? Can you be sure that? How do you know that just because tomorrow's Friday that today's Thursday? Huh?
Well,
how can you be 100% sure about that?
Because I checked. Somebody asked me the other day. They said, "Can you be sure about your worldview? Could you be wrong?" And I just said, "Fuck off." Yeah, I'm sure of my worldview.
There you go.
And they said, "Well, could you be wrong?" I was like, "Eat my fucking dick, you fucking scumbag." Come on, let's see what John has to say. I want to be saved by Jewish Jesus.
Are you done? All right, John, take it away.
Yeah.
But you have to let him talk, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna let him talk.
All right, go ahead, John.
How often do I just let people talk?
The first time for everything.
True.
Okay, here goes. Where is it?
Facebook, Blogger, Twitter, and Twitch. Thank you for coming by. This is going to be a very rough video. I might even have to put it on severe, 18 plus, because I put a warning out here. It's going to be a really rough one.
Okay, 18 plus warning is going to be rough. Huh? Okay, now.
It's going to be naked Jewish chicks?
Well, I don't know, man. What are you expecting after that introduction?
I know, man. I'm expecting some hardcore fucking masturbation and sodomy.
Yes! I want to find what moral depravity is all about. Because maybe I don't want to practice it once I find out what it's about. Maybe it's iffy. Maybe it's.
Well, let's see what he's talking about me acting all the time, Sydney. Just play the fucking video. I'm yearning for knowledge.
I'm so sorry.
We're reading from the Midrash says, if we can focus. Midrash says, Vayikra, and we're going to read about the topic of how Hashem inflicts severe punishment for moral depravity.
Hashem, that's God, that's Gischala's God.
Right.
Inflicts severe punishment for moral depravity.
Now, does he define moral depravity, or is this more of a subjective thing according to God?
That's a very good question, and I don't know the answer to that.
Thank you.
Let's see what John says.
So if you're just a moral, immoral, amoral person, you lack values, you lack ethics, you lack any sort of human decency, any sort of basic.
What the fuck does that even mean?
No, fuck.
You know?
Not
if you lack any basic,
I know, it's stupid.
Fuck.
It's stupid. Anyway.
This is from a guy wearing a fucking bed sheet or some shit like that with a fucking goofy goddamn little tiny fucking hat.
It's the Kaaba. The Kaaba. That's what it's called in Mecca. The Kaaba. He's wearing it on his head.
Kabosh, Kabish, Izzy, Mikey, Irving, Sam. We're the boys who eat no ham.
But hey, moral depravity. Shh.
Yeah. However, I mean, you're gonna have a tough time, and this reading here today is. I mean, we're talking about very adult themes, as they say. Adult themes.
Maybe let me make sure my cat's in the other room first before we start naughty talk.
Please, if you
my cat is quite a fucking slut.
Oh really? Eh?
Sorry.
Please just. Exit the video, hang up, please, thank you, have a nice life.
Please, thank you, have a nice life. He says it a lot.
Well, thank you, Don, and you have a nice life too with that stupid fucking hat.
Here, this video is not for you, come back another video. Hashem inflicts severe punishment for moral depravity.
Where have you heard that before?
Usually,
and describe moral depravity, man.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens.
Executes restraint when dealing with even a sinner. waiting for him to repent. So God is gracious. God is merciful. God has mercy. God has grace. God has love and kindness, and God is a God of love. I believe in that. I believe that the God I worship is a God of love. And God waits. God gives us 120 years of our life, and He waits until the very last moment for us to repent. However, if people become morally depraved, Hashem takes action without delay.
Got delay.
He punishes not only the sinful individual by their catastrophic plague to sweep across the land and wreak large-scale devastation.
Moral depravity.
He's gonna fuck you up, man, if you touch yourself.
So moral depravity results in natural large-scale devastation.
I never could understand why people would say, you know, God loves you, but if you don't fucking follow Him and love Him like I do, then He's gonna kill you.
That's the rule, dude.
But He loves you, of course.
Yeah.
For examples, and there's going to be examples that the Torah gives as times when humans become so depraved that God just says, you know, I see the end of my eyes, that's it. Goodbye. 1. God brought a universal flood in the time of Noah. One main reason for this punishment was in that generation indulge in forbidden relationships.
Hold on a sec. Didn't he just make a video not long ago that no one died in Noah's flood, and now he's saying that God brought Noah's flood because of some kind of depravity?
Yeah, it was some kind of gigantic communal fucking baptism for the world.
Right.
And teaches us that Noah's flood came upon man and man marriage and man and beast marriage. That the marriage between humans
it's coming from a man, it will probably have a real live woman in entire life.
and same-sex relations and all this other stuff befell destruction of the world.
Destruction of the world. Okay, so hold on, let's get this straight.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
What about my relationship with Pornhub?
Is it male or female?
Is that wrong?
Well, it depends. Is it a male? Is it a male-female relationship, or is it a male-female relationship?
It's totally heterosexual.
As long as you...
I'd like to watch two fucking hot chicks do.
As long as you and Pornhub are married, legally, no problem. That's the law. I need more coffee. I'm going to take a break right here.
Okay.
And I'm going to let you...
Well, hurry up, Sydney.
I'm just going to let you ramble on about something if you like, okay?
Okay.
So you go ahead.
How long are you going to be? How long are you going to be?
I don't know. 20 seconds? So,
okay.
20 seconds is yours.
Let's take a look at the background that John, the world's shittiest Jew, has in the background. There's stars. There's trees. Beautiful lighting. All this while he's talking about moral depravity. If you don't follow God, He's gonna kill you. Maybe flood you out. Because you know hurricane season's coming up pretty soon. Floods, God's wrath, and don't forget those homos that cause God to get mad every year and destroy millions of acres. Kill innocent babies. Of course, those babies aren't really innocent because they have dirty thoughts too.
Well, their parents certainly did, and they're guilty for that.
That fucking hat. I just can't get over that fucking hat.
What hat?
That fucking little that mouse hat he's wearing. You know, it's like I said before, man. There's a mouse somewhere around the world missing a fucking hat. I know. I go on about too much weird shit.
That's all right.
So are we gonna continue the?
Yeah.
The thing about moral depravity and why we're gonna,
I'm back to
die
and I'm ready to go.
He became so depraved.
Okay, well let's go.
When angels came to Lot's house to inform him of the impending destruction of Sodom, he pleaded with Hashem that he would spare the city. the Sodomites,
that would be
the
me.
populace learned of the arrival of the guests in Lot's house and gathered at the door, clamoring for the men to be handed over to them for sinful purposes.
Clamoring for the men to be handed over to them for sinful purposes. Can you elaborate?
What about Lot's daughters, man?
This sinful purposes. You think he's going to tell us what a sinful purpose is? Let's see.
As soon as they made the man, the angels announced a lot. Quote, do not continue to pray on their behalf. It is in vain, for their fate is sealed because of their immorality. Take your family and escape, for we are destroying this place, unquote. So Lot, the angels, we know the story. The angels dressed as Arabs, Palestinians, they come in. You can't be, according to Judaism, the town hated orphans, they hated widows, they hated strangers, they hated men of God, they were sexually depraved lunatics, they wanted to rape the angels.
They wanted to rape the angels.
Raping angels.
Raping angels. That's the first time I've ever heard that. Raping. Hey. Raping
angels.
Hey, let's start a band. I want to call it Raping Angels.
Yeah, man.
I can't believe I just heard him say that. But anyway.
When they murdered them, remember we learned in the Torah, in the Talmud, how the men of Sodom killed the little girl that what fed someone bread. It was just completely just... Charity was forbidden in Sodom. Charity
was forbidden in Sodom. Oh my God! How does he know all this Sodom bullshit?
I knew a stripper named Charity one time.
Was she forbidden in Sodom?
She had some forbidden fucking fruit. That was a beautiful fucking thing, I gotta tell you.
John is echoing really bad. Oh, sorry. Thanks, Jen. She's telling me that John is echoing bad. So, how am I going to fix that?
Anybody watching this?
Just Jennifer.
Oh, hi Jennifer. How are you today?
Oh, everybody's echoing. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, in that case, what I have to do is...
Wow, the production value is really lagging. Sydney. I mean, I could send some of my professional production people. Carl's not doing anything next week.
Thanks. I'd actually wish that you would, but let's carry on and see if the adjustment that I've just made.
I'll put Carl in a box and ship him out to you.
I just made an adjustment. Let's see if it works.
Shem said, I will punish Simpson, that's Samson, Amnon, and Zamri for the sins of immorality. I punish anyone who acts as they did. So Samson was a great man. He was a man of God, but he committed an act of immorality by sleeping with Delilah. Remember, she was a boy.
Samson committed an act of immorality by banging fucking Delilah, and then she cut her fucking hair, man. Kind of a bitch.
She was like an undercover agent, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was working for Satan, I believe. She was on the payroll of Satan, I believe. Yeah.
I'm the only one not echoing. So you.
If I remember my Bible.
Well,
if I'm echoing, it's just the lobster gods, shouting down from above.
See what happens. Jennifer's keeping tabs on the audio situation. Thank you, Jennifer.
Well, thank you, Jennifer, very much. We here at Secular Lobster Ministries, Clam Shack and Chili House, are somebody's in the side chat, keeping up and giving us production value updates. We applaud you, ma'am. Sorry.
That's all right.
Of the flood and the inhabitants of Sodom and the three individuals mentioned last were righteous, yet they had to suffer bitterly because they stumbled and they sinned involving immorality. So God hates God hates the workers of iniquity. God hates sin. So Simpson, the judge Simpson was designated to be a holy man. He was destined to be a holy man. I'm sorry. He was destined.
Where's this fucking depravity? He's boring me. Like we're both losing interest.
You know, just once I would like him. I'd like him to read something and have him read it like he's actually read it before.
Yeah, that's a good point. Fuck, is that ever a good
You know?
Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's go.
It was written in the stars. Even before he was born, an angel introduced his mother that he would be a long life a Nazarite. He was selected by Hashem for the task of single-handedly fighting the Philistines, the Philistines, of the Palestinians, whatever they're called, whatever they change. It's the same people. He had to mix with them and marry one of their daughters as to gain opportunities to stir up strife between them and the Jews, therefore avenge the Palestinians' attacks. Samson personally and was tasked with elevated to a nature to that of our forefathers, Yaakov, who was prophet.
Question from Jennifer in the outside in the YouTube chat. Did Samson?
What would that question be?
Did Samson fornicate?
You know, I believe if I remember my Bible correctly, Samson not only had sexual intercourse with Delilah, but Delilah let him do anal. And I think that was God's biggest problem, was that whole sodomy thing, you know. I could be wrong, you know. I'm just a, you know.
I mean, what Jennifer might be right, though. In fact, I'm going to bring it up on screen here. There you go, everybody. Just.
So you're telling us that Samson may have lied and didn't really have carnal intercourse with Delilah?
Well, no, I don't know. The question is, the questions are, there's two questions I have. Did Samson fornicate? That's a good question. I mean, there's two questions. Jennifer has one, and I have one. Number one from Jennifer, did Samson fornicate? Fair enough.
Well, but Jennifer, that's a good question. And I think technically he did, you know, and whether you're fornicating with a partner or fornicating by yourself and having a lovely evening with a nice dinner for one, and you know, saying nice, beautiful things to yourself, a sin is a sin, you know. I mean,
can we carry on now? Oh.
Who was prophetically envisioned his life story, initially believed that he would be the harbinger of the Messiah and usher in an era of the final redemption. So even Jacob, the great man Jacob, Yaakov, he saw visions of Samson.
Next, he's going to say that Jacob fornicated too, man, and that's just bullshit, man. Yeah, me too. Please.
He had a difficult mission in life. When he was announced to his parents that he would marry a certain Philistine girl, he said to them, "Get her from me, for she is pleasing to my eyes," unquote. That's Judges 14:3. Although he intended to marry a girl, Shamayim, for the sake of Herod, she was.
Can you imagine him going into a synagogue and trying to do like the Jason Burns thing and start preaching, you know, but in a fucking Jewish temple? That would be so fucking funny to watch. But
he was doing it for the sake of heaven, self-sacrifice, in order to be able to harass the Palestinians. I love how they write that. To harass the the Philistines, or whatever they will call, and married a girl and approved by heaven, as the book says, Judges. He filled because he chose the girl who was pleasing to his eyes. quote, pleasing to the eyes. That's his downfall.
Yeah, pleasing to the eyes. He didn't want a fucking ugly chick, you know? I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what he's fucking reading.
Dude, a girl with absolute objectivity. He should have been objective. He was subjective. She's good to look at. Like a candy bar. It's...
What the fuck? She reminded me of a Hershey candy bar because she pooped a lot when I fucked her. Yeah. So I guess John, if he had his druthers, would fuck the ugly chicks just because God would want it that way. Yeah, absolutely. Probably he would rather marry him.
He lost sight on his mission, right? One of the slightest tinge of personal desires colored his motives. It tinted it. It was like a tinge. He wasn't seeing clearly. He let him have eyes who see, right? He didn't see it right, which should have been spiritually pure. He should have did it for the sake of heaven. He should have married a decent girl. Right?
Yeah, he should have married a girl that mom would have approved of. One that could make a nice brisket, and put up a nice meal for the Passover season, Clam.
He should have a moral decline in his character, which eventually landed into his downfall. So yeah, he should have been more morally protective of his, what he was doing. He should have been realized that yes, this is we're committing a sexual immoral sin, and therefore it was even worse because he looked at her, gazed upon her with eyes and lust.
So when you see a chick that you want to have sex with, right? I'm not understanding this. You're supposed to find the ugly chicks or some chick that isn't, or a partner, for those the LGBT gay community Jews, well, okay. I guess that's where I went wrong.
Samson's harsh punishment was measure for measure. Retribution, his eyes, which had displayed interest in the girl, therefore he was blinded by the Philistines. As it says in Judges 16:21. Did they
gouge his eyes out or just pour acid on his face?
Oh. Sophim 16:21. That's how you say it in Hebrew. So there's valid. So the.
Well, I still want to this whole moral depravity thing, man. I mean, I'm disappointed.
They blinded him. Remember they
really 8 minutes and 53 seconds into the shit. Yeah, it's fun.
They messed with his eyes. That's the downfall of Samson. Samson was a righteous man, though. He destroyed the temple, and he was a righteous man. He died righteously. He's a man who merited heaven. But David's son Amnon caused himself to be punished.
He got married in heaven. Hey, yeah. Who did the catering?
Because he did not control his desires, as is recounted in Samuel 11:13. Amnon grew up in the royal palace together with Tamar. Although she was not actually his sister according to Torah law, he knew that she would not be given to him in marriage for various reasons. At the advice of an evil friend.
Probably because it was his sister.
Yonadav, he consequently devised an opportunity to be alone with her and forced her to submit to his will. Tamar's brother, Avshalom.
Once again, John, try reading something like you've read it before.
Is that how you say? Avshalom, the father of peace, I guess that's his name, avenged the deed by having Amnon murdered. So Amnon put himself on Tamar in a politically correct way. We would, I guess nowadays we would say #MeToo on that one. As a result of these incidences, the Bet Din, the Jewish court, prohibited Jewish men to be privately secluded with a girl, even an unmarried girl. So according to the rabbis, according to the Bet Din, ruled that a man shouldn't be alone in a room with a woman. That's a big thing.
Well, okay, now just stop for a second there. You know, I think I'm catching on a little bit here. You know, first of all, I know I'm echoing. Second of all, I think John has never been in a room alone with a real woman, maybe except for maybe his mom or his sister or his nana or something like that.
Yeah, that's possible.
So I can understand. You know, it might be a little bit, you know, hard for him to be around, I don't know, a real woman. That might be a little attractive.
I think he's scared of a real woman. I think he's hiding behind this mask
that could be
that reason.
I think he's yearning for the cock.
Well, he's
I really do.
He's got that. I want to.
And I'm not judging.
Well, he's wearing that. I want a cock hat.
Yeah.
Isn't that what that isn't that what that is? That black box on the top of your head means I want a cock.
That's the dumbest fucking thing. Religion and funny hats, man. But he's got to have the smallest hat. You know, I guess the Catholic Church and some of the others have those big funny hats. I guess the Jews have the little tiny funny hats.
That's a box. That's not a hat. That thing. Stupid piece of shit. Anyway.
It's a hat. It's on top of his head. And he's probably got an elastic thing holding it on.
No, it's those leather straps.
Like those little cowboy hats?
No, it's leather straps. I used to have a set of those when I was a kid.
A leather? Well, I've had leather straps before. I've had leather straps taken to my ass, you know? Yeah, of course, I loved it.
You know, what if there's only one leather factory in the whole world, and all the leather products come out of there? The religious leather products, like this guy wears, and the sexual aids that are part of the depravity and immorality that he is railing against, all from the same factory.
Well, they have different departments at the leather store.
There you
they
go.
have the fun side and then the funny Jewish shit.
Right.
That's an actual department.
Okay, but the question is, do we want to hear any more of this guy?
Yeah, let's keep going. I gotta hear if it's, you know, I mean, should I touch myself?
Sure.
You know, should I touch, you know, a woman? You know, I mean, am I going to hell if I do? You know,
questions that
is God gonna gouge my eyes out? Yeah. So keep going.
You gotta have a crack, something. Can't be alone. Forbidden. Zimri brought about the.
Have you ever noticed that? Hold on a second. Have you ever noticed that everything in religion is basically sexual? You know, God
never noticed that at all.
No,
I have never noticed.
You know, don't touch yourself. You know,
why?
Don't touch a woman if she's on her period.
I have
you know? It's
never.
all things.
I've never heard of that before, ever. No, not once. Ha.
Hey, you know, I'm here as a biblical scholar. So yeah.
All right, let's do it.
It's in the Bible.
3 individuals who was punished for immorality. Besides being slain himself, he brought death to 24,000 Jews, as we will be related at the end of the Parsha Balach. So at the end of the Parsha Balach, it talks about the story of Zimri. We'll talk about that in the future. I'm not familiar with this story. I guess it's been a year too long, and I don't remember that long.
Well, that's because you're the world's shittiest Jew, John. There is? Jewish lolscow.
It's powerful. It's rough. It's rough. I told you this study here. It's a difficult study. It's rough. People don't want to hear it. Doesn't.
Oh, well, it's a difficult subject, and he's having a hard time because he's never going to have a real woman.
Yeah, nobody knows what he's talking about. He skirts and skirts and skirts and just doesn't get to it.
Tickle the eardrums.
Well, it's all about moral depravity,
Not Joel Osteen. Sorry. God. Eretz Yisrael cannot tolerate sin. So we're going to move on to this next part. I'm going to read this. We're going to go on a little farther. Actually, maybe I'll do this in a separate video.
Well, let's hope so, John, because we want you to be as thorough as possible.
Although moral depravity is punishable by whatever occurs, in the land of Israel, it calls upon special punishment, exile of the inhabitants, Vayikra 18:23. So if this happens in the land of Israel, have a nice life. You're leaving. Adam and Eve, goodbye. Right? How is the land of Israel different from other countries of the earth? This phenomenon can be better understood by the means of a parable. So here's a parable. A food served to the labor camp inmates was dirty and thrown to them in unwashed bowls. Those who came from poor and simple backgrounds and had previously been exposed to hardships swallowed the unappetizing meals. The others, however, were only used to refined food served in spotless dishes. Although in hunger forced them to overcome the disgust and gulped it down, their delicate stomachs could not hold it in. Whatever they ate would be subsequently vomited up. So that's the parable that relates to this. So the land
sounds
of
like
Israel
dysentery to me if you eat off of dirty dishes and eat really like rancid food. He's the bar none.
Beautiful, wonderful, holy land. It's not going to tolerate undesirable foods. You get the allegorical and dirty vessels. Can't take a dirty vessel, ladies and gentlemen. Got to be a vessel of holiness, so that bracha can pour into it. All the land of the world.
God wants you to wash your dishes before you eat, so you don't get diarrhea.
Lands of the world,
of course.
The land of Israel possesses the highest degree of kedusha, holiness. She is therefore, as it were, the most sensitive to all evil committed on her holy soil. If her inhabitants become corrupt and transgress the God's will, her refined constitution is unable to tolerate them. She therefore eventually vomits them forth, and they are exiled.
Okay, vomiting.
Vomiting
again.
He's vomiting
we've
a lot.
We've got moral depravity and sex, and vomiting, and dirty dishes and diarrhea. Okay, I think there's a correlation somewhere along biblically, and I'm hoping John puts it all together in the end. I'm really looking forward to this.
The thing is that he's supposed to be reading from his Old Testament Bible, but it sounds like he's reading from like a Irish slum newspaper article or something.
Yeah. It's just he should fucking read something. Act like you've read it before.
Or read it before. Read it once before, and then go online and read it again. Or read it twice before.
Give us a synopsis.
Understand what you're reading, for fuck's sake.
Anyway. Or just tell us the fucking story, about how much God hates anal sex and beautiful women, and
he hasn't mentioned
give you diarrhea.
Sex. He just mentioned lust and I guess being with women that you aren't married to. Anal sex has not come up yet. Let's see.
Well, ugly chicks like anal, I heard. So.
Samansara, the king of Ashar, Assyria, to resettle in different countries the inhabitants of the conquered provinces, as to reduce the likelihood of a rebellion. So he would take over land and then redistribute the people in the different lands. That's interesting. I never heard of that before. So he would take the people and then redistribute them. Thus he brought non-Jews from Babel and Cushu and other cities to live in the land of Israel. These Cushim continued serving idols in the land of Israel as they always had. Hashem then sent lions which slew many of them. The Cushim, I guess how you pronounce it, sent a message to the king of Ashar, Salaman Asar, I guess that's how you say it.
Phonics. Well, yeah. Well, you know, Sydney, I think we can stop this video here right now and just keep this screenshot of John, because I think he's basically told us, and now I understand why this was age restricted, you know, because of all the moral depravity and sex with beautiful women and looking at women and then diarrhea after not eating with clean dishes. You know, I think right there it says it all, you know. And what do you yeah, I mean well, because he's a man of God, you know, he's yeah. I would love to see like him and G-Man do a debate, you know, maybe even Von Helton, you know, because, you know, this, well, I don't know, but I'd like to see it. I mean, because, you know, the Punisher, you know, he studied every major religion for well over 30 years. And so he would be able to give us some more answers. Yeah, I thought it was your dog dying. I agree. Yeah, you know, yeah, I'm just, and remember, don't touch yourself and don't look at beautiful women, because God hates that. And if you do touch yourself or look at a beautiful woman, then you're going to have to eat out of dirty dishes and have explosive diarrhea, because that'll piss God off.
That was the last word by the lobster. Thank you so much for watching.